How is it going, everyone? JiraiyaGaming here. Welcome back to episode number 55 of my Jiraiya's Topic Wednesdays. And this week we're going to be talking about, of course, the corruption in churches. Now, this is, of course, a long overdue topic that I want to talk about, especially with me being from a religious background as well. I feel like this is something that doesn't get necessarily talked about, but a lot of people may feel the way I feel. Now, just because I'm from a religious background doesn't mean that I can't see what's wrong, what's going on with our churches nowadays. And I feel like it has really been getting worse and worse when it comes to churches. They're setting up GoFundMe accounts now to raise funds to buy some outlandish, different stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, why do you need to buy a private jet for $85 million so you can go flying around? Yes, there's a pastor that actually was trying to get his congregation. Not quite sure if he met that goal or not. But yeah, Crefto Dollar. I will try and see if I can find a link to, of course, the article, or of course to the video showing that he was actually trying to get, of course, his congregation to sponsor him to buy a $85 million jet. I believe it costs. That is absolutely ridiculous, absolutely crazy in my opinion. I can just imagine the amount of people that's in his congregation that probably lost their house over the course of the past few years, especially since things went bad in 2008. That's been probably still throwing their tithes and their offering and so forth, etc. And a lot of these people are being taken advantage of. We don't see pastors doing as enough for the communities that they're in and where they have their churches. And a lot of these churches don't necessarily pay taxes, as well as some of them can be tax exempt. Non-profit organizations as well. They're most of the time considered to be, depending on where you fall under the tax bracket and so forth, etc. So that does make a difference as well. But I believe that most churches don't necessarily pay taxes when it comes to certain things like that as well. Maybe unless you're taking grants from, of course, the federal government and so forth, etc. Then you may be, of course, then you may be held accountable to pay taxes and so forth, etc. So this is an issue in, of course, our churches nowadays and the corruption that goes on beyond it. Now, when I say corruption, there's a lot of things that happen behind that closed door that the churches like to keep, of course, within the church. And obviously, you don't want to get it out because you want to continue to bring new members and so forth as well. So sometimes these things are lost in, of course, the members. And some of those people won't come out and say anything. And, like I said, sometimes the pastors themselves, they are very good at words, and they know how to twist them and turn them and tell you what you want to hear, what you feel you want to hear. And a lot of these people are going and paying for it too as well. At the same time, we want to make sure we're doing our part as well as individuals. So if you believe in your faith and you're strongly in your faith, then you want to, of course, do what the Bible says to do within our faith. The Bible did say as well that, hey, come as you are into, of course, the house of the Lord, which means, in my opinion, that you should be able to go into church whichever way you are, whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, whatever the case may be. You should be able to go into church. And I, as an individual, shouldn't be judging you, because at the end of the day, I'm not God, so I can't judge you. Even though your beliefs and my beliefs are two different things, and I'm strong in my beliefs, you're strong in your beliefs, I shouldn't be able to judge you for that. Now, we've had pastors who have not accept that in their churches, and some of those same pastors are now accepting it in their church because they see it as a fundraising event for themselves. And when I say fundraising event, the more people you have in your church, the more people you have given, the more money you get into your church, the more you can go and spend on these, outlandish vehicles and so forth as well. I don't see the purpose of pastors needing to have all this money and, of course, spending it on all these ridiculous, expensive cars and houses and so forth. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke, in my opinion. And of course, not only that, but you see, there's been a TV show now that's on, I don't know what channel it's on because I don't necessarily watch it, but I've seen previews of it. And I saw a little bit of it as well, where there's pastors, talking about, their church life, and pretty much putting it out there for the world to see. We as individuals know some of these things that goes on, can see some of the, the ridiculous double standards that goes on. And here we are, still supporting some of these pastors and some of these churches. And we know they're all out and in it for the money, for the buck. In a sense, that's what churches have become. A money-making machine. And a lot of people are getting into it. A lot of people. I've seen it happen. I know it happens. I've heard stories. And, unfortunately, history kind of shows that too as well. There's plenty of different stories we've heard when pertaining to churches and molestation going on, and how people are brainwashed not to say anything, and eventually it takes someone almost being killed, or escaping some of these churches that in a sense you can say is a cult, and escaping with their life and pretty much giving their story and what may have taken place, because they finally wised up and realized what was going on was wrong. And especially when you talk about kids being molested, we've seen this happen over the course of time. We've seen this happen numerous times as well. We have that happen here in Texas as well, Texas, and how those people lost their lives. We've seen it happen in part of Africa, the big massive people that got killed in that camp. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what it's called, but I'm just giving you guys an example of all the things that has happened pertaining to church, and how these people have a strong hold in these people that goes into, of course, the doors of the church. And I think it's just become a bit ridiculous and too much, and it's a big deterrent for a lot of people who want to get into, of course, church and religion and so forth, and it turns people away, especially the younger generation. They want to have nothing to do with churches, because when you see these things advertised and go on, and you can see pastors of LA's, and you see their houses and the cars they're driving, what is going on with that? That's not the example you want to set for people. And it only opens up for other people to want to get into church for that purpose, because they see, oh man, if this guy is living like this, I should be able to I should get into church too as well. I should become a pastor, and so I can make that money. It's just the wrong idea. In America, we are all about making the money and doing whatever we can to make that money. And not just America, this is all over the world too as well, because it's not just specific to America as well. I mean, we have heard stories from places in Africa and other different, continents and countries as well. So that's just the way that works. But the main reason why I wanted to talk about this today is there's just been a recent story of a young man, and I said young man, of a guy out of Detroit. He was married to his wife for 3 years. They got married in 2012, and I'm going by the story that I told, so I'm not sure if it's 100% correct. I'm just going by the story, and after looking up and so forth, getting some information on it. And so he got married in 2012, so they've been married for 3 years, and supposedly the pastor that he knows has been a father figure in his life, and the guy's going to school, playing pro ball as well, semi-pro, whatever. And of course his wife comes up pregnant, and he finds out it's for his pastor. I believe the pastor also took them in, the pastor and his wife, and was counseling them too as well. So like I said, the guy is very close to the pastor, knows the pastor, and like I said, the pastor has been like a father figure in his life. Well, the guy finds out the pastor, is the father of his child with his wife. And so he went to church pissed off. He was posting on Facebook as well about how pissed he was, and that he was going to go because he knows the truth and so forth. He can't wait to hear what I have to say. And so you kind of you can kind of tell that something was happening from those posts if you're someone that followed him. And sure enough, supposedly he showed up to the church with a brick, attacked the pastor. The pastor had a concealed weapon, pulled it out, shoot him, and killed him. Shot him 5 times in the chest and killed him. And this is just a hard pill to swallow, because here you are, a pastor that's supposed to know wrong from right. You're supposed to be, higher than everyone else. Obviously, we understand that you're human too as well, and everyone makes mistake. But you're high up on the food chain, so to speak, when it comes to religion and so forth. You should be someone that's a man of God, godly, so to speak, kind of like the Pope in a sense. And here you are doing these things and taking advantage of a woman that may have issues going on. And I don't necessarily take the blame from her, because not only did she, gave this man so much pain, but you also took it away. You took his life away too as well, because of what you did. You had the choice to say no as well. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't even know if I was that young man's family, if I would be able to forgive this woman. I don't even think I'd be able to look at her, to be honest. I can't believe it. It's absolutely crazy, but we know these things happen, and this is something that prompted me to talk about this topic, because I felt like this has become a big issue. It's something that's been happening for a very long time. Like I said, most people won't talk about it. Sometimes you don't hear about it because it's not too entertaining if someone doesn't get killed. And not all the time it leads to someone getting killed, but nevertheless, it's still an issue where, people are having affairs and so forth, etc. It happens. Sometimes you find out the pastors are gay. It happens. It absolutely happens. And it's just crazy. I just feel like our churches now, you just don't know what's going on in those churches. And there's so much going on. There's so much people that are unfit to be pastors, and to be leading a church to begin with, and or leading a church full of lies. And how can you be, how can you follow someone like that? But yet still people do it. And I feel like it's leading a lot of people to astray. It's a lot of the reason why you see the problems we have when it comes to churches and people not want to go to church and so forth, etc., or even get affiliated with any religions to begin with, because there's just too much double standards that goes on, especially when it comes to church and pastors and so forth, etc. People are getting tired of it. Now, obviously, you don't want that to, stop you from believing in what you want to believe in. And for like myself, I believe that, if I'm doing right as an individual, and I know that there's, a higher power there, and I live my life according, if I read the Bible, I kind of, take it how I read it, and not have people tell me a whole bunch of different things as well. Sometimes people are feeling that that's the best way to go, because if you can't trust your pastor, you can't trust people who are claiming to be a man of God, who can you trust? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I wanted to share that. Wanted to kind of get that off my chest. Not necessarily a rant, but I just thought that was just absolutely crazy when I heard that story. And I wanted to share with you guys. I'll try and link those in the description so you guys can check it out as well for yourself. Let me know your thoughts and opinion. Do you guys, if you guys ever have any stories, do you guys ever wanted to become, a bit more religious and, wanted to follow a certain religion and you decide not to because of experience that you guys may have had? I know a lot of people that have had experience like that, and it totally just turned them off from churches and so forth and religion period. So let me know your thoughts. I want to know if that is actually true. I believe it's true, and like I said, I've heard of experiences. I know people that even I myself have had experiences as well, but it still hasn't messed up my faith. I mean, I still have my faith. My faith is strong. I grew up in a Christian background, but a lot of people that are have faith, it can definitely turn them off from it too as well. And I just wanted to kind of hear what you guys think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any suggestions for a topic, be sure to leave them in the description down below. And of course, I'll do them if they're personal. Be sure to just shoot me, of course, an email. That link will be, of course, in the description as well. And just let me know that it's confidential, and I will keep it that way as well. Now, with that said, guys, I'm your host, JiraiyaGaming. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.